G'day everyone, welcome back to Daily Endeavours for the 8th of June. I'm Jackson. There will be timestamps and or like chapters in the description if you just want to look for one of these particularly. You just want to skip all the other things because you already know them. But the set today is okay. It's 15 steals, killing world bosses, resources from the world, killing a player in Cyrodiil, Hearth Furnishings, relatively easy to get, and consuming foods. So personally, I would choose consuming foods, Hearth Furnishings, and resources from the world, but I don't think these two. This one is slow but sure. This one is. It can be very quick, but it can also be very volatile. The main thing to remember with killing a player in Cyrodiil is if you don't have to get the last hit, and you don't have to kill them on your own. If you've hurt a player and they die, basically it'll count for this. So things like light attacking with like a restoration staff, because those attacks are the hardest to dodge, I think, just because they come out instantly, so it's hard to telegraph. And then just like that or siege. So either follow a big group around and just like, if you don't know how Cyrodiil works, just have like lots of healing and lots of like have a lot of health and just like heal people. And if enemies start attacking you, just heal and light attack them every now and then, and eventually one will die. But like, you could have a dry spell where you just, every time you get into combat, you just die before anything happens. You know, you could just be, yeah. Cyrodiil is just very unreliable. It would be better if you could do it in Battlegrounds, I think, as well, if it wasn't just Cyrodiil. But just because it's Cyrodiil, it's like it's one of the 3 places where you do PvP, and there's 3 campaigns, and it means that sometimes the groups are quite small that you can find, especially when it's on like the opposite of prime time when there's nobody on. But yeah, if you can, especially since it's the weekend, try and go on when there's lots of people on, and that way you just have more people to try and attack. But yeah, it's just, I don't like to rely on this one, and I'm not going to show you how to do it today just because it could take ages, and I don't really have ages to cover this one as well as all the other options. I've got a lot going on today, so sorry about that. But yeah, usually I just don't even do these anyway. So I'll start with Hearth Furnishings, and I'll start with showing you how to get a free house, if you don't have it already. So Hearth Furnishings, easiest way to get a Hearth Furnishing is to come to any of the 3 home goods furnishers in the Imperial City. So just go down here, you go enter. You right click and it says enter, just because I'm in here it doesn't show up. But yeah, it just says joining, and then you accept it, and you're in here. You come up to this person here. They won't show up on the map, but they're usually in the first room. And they'll have the title Homes Goods Furnisher. That's what you're looking for. They all have the same thing. They've got these laundry things here. These are Hearth Furnishings. The clothesline post is not, but the other 4 are, and they only cost 100 gold. So just loot a couple of things from like some wardrobes. If you don't have 100 gold, you'll probably find like a green item that you can sell for 100, and that'll be more than enough. Everything else is doable for free. So you just buy one of these, and then you bring it to your home. So now I'll just show you how to get a free home. Okay, so if you want your free home, you just come to this location here. This house here is one of the free homes that you can get, but if you haven't completed the quest already, there'll be a female Breton with blonde hair right here that you can talk to. She'll have a quest, and all you got to do is literally talk to her, and then you'll complete the quest. And what that quest gives you is one of the free houses. The 3 houses available to you will be Rosy Lion, Ebony Flask Inn Room, and Mara's Kiss Public House. It depends on your alliance, you'll get one of these 3. They're all pretty much the same, they're just like a tiny inn room. So all you got to do is just come in here, and then if it's one of the other ones that's like far away, you click on it and it'll show you where it is, and then you can either, yeah, you can go outside or inside. Obviously just go inside, otherwise you won't be able to use it. Now, I will just point out, I will do this at the end, because what you can do is you can do all the other stuff, and because outside of Cyrodiil, it's kind of another thing. If you're going to do this one, do it last, just so you can do this stuff and then immediately port to Cyrodiil when you're ready. But yeah, you can travel to this whenever you're ready, like in anywhere basically outside of Cyrodiil. And what that means is do it last, because you can do these ones and be out in the middle of nowhere, and then travel to your house and do that one, and that's it. Job done. I think it's just better for convenience. Alright, so consuming foods. You can do this completely for free. Just come to this location here, southeast of the Wayshrine of Vocal Guard, this little square up here. This is normally where you go to do crafting with any skill or provisioning. There'll be these pieces of bread. Someone in the comments the other day said, Phantom tax that bread. I don't know what that means, but apparently it's important. Obviously you can make your own stuff if you want your character not to eat fucking crusty bread, because that sounds gross. But yeah, you just wait for the cooldown and that's it. So very easy to do this one. If you have some crown fortifying meals, you can also use those. And some of the stuff, if you did the crafting with any skill for the Gone Pursuits or any of the endeavors in the past, you can also just eat these on the go as well. Okay, resources from the world. So there's a pretty wide list of things that work for this. Basically, most items that you would just find in the overland that you can harvest will count. There are a few exceptions though. Let me show you a list of them now. So chest is going to be the main one that doesn't work. If you find a chest, loot it if it's in a good zone, but just leave it otherwise. Thieves Troves also don't work. The main thing is going to be insects and containers. So torch bugs, butterflies, wasps, and the flesh fly swarm clouds that you see near like dead bodies. Those don't count as resources from the world. Also, a rabido hide scrap that you get from, or like any medium armor scraps that you get from killing beasts, those don't count. So you can't just go into like Crow's Wood or whereas there's one and just kill a bunch of the skeevers to get a bunch. That doesn't work, unfortunately. But it's pretty straightforward. Just pick a zone and just everything that you see, just harvest it like Ancestor Silk. Yeah, this is one of the flesh fly clouds that I was talking about, so this doesn't work, unfortunately. But you can get insect parts, which is good for fishing whenever those endeavors come up, so it is good to do them. But yeah, pretty much everything else is good. So if you can, come to Craglorn and do this, because any cloth node like these, Ancestor Silk, any blacksmithing ore node, any jury seam or dust node, and any wood node, these all have a chance to give you a very, very powerful set of trait items. Fortified Gnome Crux, I mean, this one's not that used, I don't think, but Potent Gnome Crux is. So Potent Gnome Crux, it looks like this, but it's like cocaine instead of like a gem. And what Potent does is it gives you the Nirnhoned trait, just like this, except for weapons. Those sell for a ton. These sell for a lot too. So you can make a lot of money if you want to sell these just by putting them in the guild store. But yeah, if it's too busy though, because this tends to be the only zone that people rummage through whenever this endeavor comes up, because you can knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. But if you don't want to use this zone, literally just go any other zone that you own, maybe outside of Cyrodiil. I suppose you could loot resources from the world while you're chasing down a player to kill, but wouldn't recommend it, because Cyrodiil's surprisingly, it's a big zone, and I find resources can be quite hard to find sometimes. But yeah, any of these big zones are fine. Like, especially like old DLC ones, they tend to be the ones that aren't used. I don't like Vardenfell too much, just because there's a lot of swampy, like, water, like areas with a lot of water in the way, and it tends to not, like, get you off your mount. Whereas places like this, especially like deserts and stuff, you can just go through the whole thing just on your mount without getting into any trouble. Especially since if you enter combat and you get taken off your mount by falling into water, you can't hop on your mount until you're out of combat. You also can't use Wayshrines either in combat, which is annoying. But yeah, just go through, grab anything you find. Also, you can get some housing furnishing materials from this, and some of these can be great. Like Heartwood from Wood Nodes is amazing. Mundane Runes from Runestones. Even though Craglorn doesn't give you... you can't get Potent or Fortified Gnome Crux from Runestones, you can still get Mundane Runes, which you can make some money off too. And Decorative Wax. That's something you probably won't find much, because you tend to get these from creatures and from urns and containers and shit. But those are good too if you can find them. Last thing I should probably mention is surveys. So what surveys do is they give you a map location. For example, the jury ones are written, but all the other ones are better. They show you on the map. But what they do is you go to this location and you get an instance form of 6 nodes of that resource type of the survey, like for the blacksmith ones you just get ores. And what that means is just 2 surveys and you'll be able to get this done without having to run around looking for random stuff. Personally, you can do this if you've got tons of surveys, just go nuts if you want. But I think you honestly can just get just as many items just running in a straight line through a zone, because there's so many resources. Like, it's just resource dense in like a lot of zones. And 2, if you've only got a few surveys left, there are endeavors that ask you to do a survey, and those surveys will be the only way to do those. And on a day where you get like other shit options, having a survey in that case will make that day a lot easier. So if you've just got a few left, I would advise, as always, just hold on to them, because they can you can basically use them as a rain check for a set of endeavors that's shit. Well, ones that I think are shit anyway. Right, when it comes to world bosses, there's 2 ways I like to do this. There's the slow but sure sit at Western Overlook, where usually everybody else goes, or because it's 2, you might want to try going back to back, because there's places where you can get easy access to 2 world bosses in quick succession. So this area, for example, Stonefalls is another good example. You've got Strashform next to Sini, and then Brahma's Grove next to Fort Errand. Or, you can try something like Cave of Memories or Shivering Shrine. I find Shivering Shrine quite tough, though it is a place you get a mythic lead, so some people might want to do that. The other good one is Green Shade. This one's particularly good because there's 2 world bosses right next to each other. It's just there's not a easy way shrine to use, just because there's lots of enemies through here, so sometimes it could be a pain in the ass getting in here. But these 2 are right next to each other, so these 2 are great. So you kill the one, you go around a cliff, and the other one's just there. That being said, it's worth mentioning that if a world boss has multiple entities, for example, in Addon, the Soulfire Plateau, there's like a trio of necromancers. Unfortunately, multiple world boss areas don't give you multiple. As soon as you kill all 3, it'll count for killing 1 world boss. It's annoying, but it doesn't work, sadly. So you just want to kill. The best way to do this, I think, is just to find an area where players are going to be amassing a lot, so that there's not much. You don't have to try much, and it will take less time when it's up. Obviously, if you want to fight a world boss on your own, for a bit of excitement, go for it. But if you just want simplicity, what I usually do is come down here and just fight Western Overlook. Surprisingly, there's nobody here. That being said, it's not I'm pretty sure it's the opposite of prime time for EU. Alright, so I'll just show you a fight with Limscather, because it's not the easiest fight in the game. This is just a typical Nightblade, Orders Wrath, and Mother Sorrow. So he hits really hard, but he doesn't hit very often. This has some healing, and the bitch slap is like the worst thing. Trying to wait for him to do it. Okay, it's not doing it. That thing there. When he does that, it hits like a truck and comes out super quick. So try and block that if you can, but I know it's a pain in the ass. And this, roll dodge or block that as well. Everything else, just try and block it when you see it coming. Because usually, that bitch slap, I hate that. Because everything else is pretty straightforward. Now, if you can, don't interrupt that, because basically when he uses that, he does nothing else for a while. So it just means that if he's not doing anything else, then it just means that you can just easily survive against him. Because it means he's not doing any of his other annoying attacks. Thank you, great player, for not moving the boss. Makes it so much easier to kill bosses when they don't move. Because oh no, they died. That's okay, I got him. They died valiantly. Like I said, just being able to have your AoEs on the ground, not have to be moved constantly because the boss is moving so much, makes it so much easier to kill stuff. So yeah, that's the boss, and now you just wait for it to respawn. or you can go somewhere else and find another world boss. Because usually, because this one's just started at respawn timer of 5 minutes, you can go somewhere else and try and find a different one, or you can just watch YouTube in the background. I guess watch the rest of this video while you're doing this, and that's all. So yeah, it'll be about 5 minutes before it respawns. Sometimes it can sort of be forced to respawn. I don't know how to replicate it myself, but sometimes if a player who hasn't been at a world boss before comes down, sometimes it respawns instantly, like a little bit or a lot quicker. Sometimes I don't know how to replicate it. I've never been able to, but I've seen it happen. It's pretty crazy when it does. Alright, so last one is Hearth Furnishings. So now we'll just go to our house, as we had before. So yeah, see what I mean? You can just, from anywhere in outside of Cyrodiil and Imperial City, you can travel to your house. Yeah, so here's a house. So the first thing you do is open the housing editor at the bottom right, if you haven't been to a house before. Browse at the bottom middle of the screen. Open that up. Go down to where it says Hearth. Oh, I've got a fish, lol. The rough clothesline that you bought before, or any item that you have, just bring it out and then just chuck it anywhere. Now what you do is at the bottom left you'll see it says undo. You don't have to pick it up and put it away, because if you pick it up and just try and place it normally, nothing happens, it doesn't count. What you do instead is you press undo. I'll just press it a bunch of times because I tried to move it. But what happens is when you undo enough, it'll put it back in your inventory, and then what you do now is redo it, and it'll undo your removing it. So it'll place it back down, and that counts as placing a furnishing. So what you can do is just spam redo and undo a bunch of times after you've placed it, and it'll pick it up and place it, pick it up and place it, repeat that process. And so you can just do the furnishing endeavor that way whenever it comes up. So you see this one item is leaving in your house now, because in the future you just pick this up, put it away, and then you undo, redo, spam like that. Now if you think you've got a Hearth Furnishing in your house already and you don't want to buy that one, I should have mentioned this at the start, but I'm not perfect. So if you go to retrieve in the housing menu and you go Hearth, it'll, like, if there's something in your house that counts as a Hearth Furnishing, it'll show up in this tab here. And so you just go to it, and either you can put it away, or you can set the destination. I mean, it's not great for a tiny little house like this, but in a big house it means you could find it easier. But yeah, either of those works. So you put it away, and then you leave the menu, and then you undo, redo, like that. Same way. So I'll just go out and grab the 2 resources, and then that'll be endeavors done. Right, there we go. That's 8 resources. So if you have any questions, as always, just let me know. But yeah, fairly straightforward set. So thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for your support as always. I will see you all next time, and take care.